A while ago, I ran a couple of surveys on Reddit asking a simple question. The results of the survey were surprising. I didn't expect to see so much dislike for Red Dead Redemption 2. I didn't expect to see how many people thought GTA was so overrated and undeserving of its praise, or how many people simply bounced off of Hollow Knight. But one thing didn't surprise me that much. A lot of people simply did not care for Dark Souls. And that makes perfect sense to me, because Dark Souls is not a game for everyone. Despite how groundbreaking it was, Dark Souls is a deeply divisive game. To a newcomer, Dark Souls can feel obtuse, cold, unwelcoming even. It often feels like the game genuinely does not care whether you succeed or not. Even people who love Dark Souls, myself included, will tell you the same thing. Dark Souls will not let you progress until you improve. It won't let you button mash your way out of trouble. You have to learn to be patient, or the game will continue to reject you. That rejection, more often than not, feels very personal. Many people lose their cool playing Dark Souls. They take the fact that the game does not cooperate with them personally.
You're so predictable! You fat asshole!
To understand why Dark Souls is the way that it is, we have to talk about the year 2009 and about Demon Souls. When Demon Souls released in 2009, it ran counter to nearly every prevailing design trend. At the time, the industry was focused on accessibility, guidance, and empowerment. Games like Uncharted 2 made a conscious effort to immerse players in cinematic worlds where they were clearly the hero, and they were enormously successful for doing that. 2009 also saw the release of Assassin's Creed 2, a game that in many ways perfected the open world Ubisoft formula, as in large open worlds with markers and checklists and an emphasis on giving the player the freedom to progress and explore at their own pace. Assassin's Creed 2 was a massive success, and like Uncharted 2, it reinforced the idea that players must be guided. They should never wonder where to go next, how to solve a problem, or God forbid, face any difficulty along the way. Last but not least, in 2009, we got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Breaks Overwatch. Let's go.
The industry was thriving. With these three games and arguably Batman Arkham Asylum, the industry really struck gold. Other game developers could not ignore the new standards that have been set by Ubisoft, Infinity Ward, and Naughty Dog. As far as the industry is concerned, if your games are not accessible, fun, and easy, then you might not even get a chance to publish them. This is clearly how Shuhei Yoshida felt when he first played Demon Souls. After spending some time with the game, Yoshida could not have been any clearer about how he felt about the game. He said, and I quote, "This is crap. This is an unbelievably bad game." Shuhei Yoshida was not the only one who felt that way. In fact, Sony was so worried about the reputational damage that Demon Souls may cause them that they simply chose not to publish it in the West. In fact, it was Atlas who decided to take a chance on Demon Souls and brought it to Western audiences. And despite it being an aggressively different game, Demon Souls found its audience. It was not setting the world on fire like the previous mentioned games, but it still managed to garner enough critical success and recognition in a year, let's not forget, that saw some of the greatest and most influential games of all time come out. That initial success was critical, and without it, Dark Souls, and possibly the entire Souls-like genre, would never have seen the light of day. In 2011, the industry had largely doubled down on familiar successes. Uncharted 3 sold well despite mixed reception, and open worlds surged in popularity with titles like Arkham City and Skyrim, praised for player freedom and smooth, accommodating progression. The emphasis was clear. Good game design should reduce friction, respect player time, and provide a consistently empowering experience. Dark Souls arrived with none of those priorities. The world of Dark Souls isn't built for you to thrive in. Your character is a nobody, not a chosen one, not a hero. You're an undead, branded with the dark sign, cursed to exist in an endless cycle of death and rebirth. You can't truly die. Instead, you fail over and over again, slowly decaying, slowly going hollow. The game begins with you locked in a cell, waiting for eternity to pass while your mind and humanity rot away. Your journey only starts because a stranger tosses you a key through the bars, and almost casually entrusts you with a task you are fully expected to fail. In most RPGs, you begin as an unknown. In Dark Souls, you're even less than that. Your character feels like a remnant of a bygone age, someone the world has already moved past. Every NPC you encounter feels stronger than you, better equipped, more experienced. Every boss is a monumental force, ancient and godlike, and most often very overwhelming. You start with almost nothing, and if you're careless, you'll end with even less. The world isn't deliberately hostile, though some areas certainly feel that way. More accurately, the world is indifferent. And it's that indifference, combined with a complete lack of guidance, that forms much of the allure of Dark Souls. The game's narrative is hidden rather than presented. Lore is fragmented across item descriptions, cryptic dialogue, and environmental storytelling. This combination of minimal guidance and harsh punishment for carelessness, and also meaningful rewards for perseverance and calculated risk, is what makes Dark Souls so compelling for some players and so discouraging for many others. A lot of people buy into the hype of Dark Souls. They start the game expecting something familiar, another critical acclaimed experience that's going to guide them and reward them for playing the game. But what they encounter is a game that is so uncompromising and unforgiving that they put down the controller and never return. And this isn't simply because those players are averse to difficulty, or at least it's not the whole story. For many people, the suffering Dark Souls demands feels pointless. The struggle doesn't promise reassurance, validation, or payoff. And for the majority of players, that absence is reason enough to walk away. Despite the story consistently treating you as a nobody, Miyazaki designs games where you and your character are at the very center of the experience. Narration is player-driven, discovery is player-driven, and the meaning that you get out of the experience is also player-driven. You are at the center of your own journey. The world offers no moral guidance, no prophecy guarantees your success, and the NPCs you encounter do not inspire any hope.
Thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know, and I can die with hope in my heart.
In this sense, Dark Souls functions as an interactive meditation on existentialism, specifically the post-war existentialism of philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus. It is interactive existentialism because the game spends very little explaining its philosophy or worldview to you. Instead, it forces you to experience it firsthand. In Dark Souls, Lordran is dying. There are no gods coming to save it. There is no clearly good ending, only subjective outcomes. Like Camus' absurd universe, the game continually asks the player a simple but unsettling question. Why continue when nothing promises meaning? This is a bleak philosophy, and it doesn't appeal to everyone. It tends to resonate with those confronting nihilism a loss of traditional moral certainties, or a desire to establish their own values in a world that appears indifferent to their existence. It's no surprise then that Dark Souls has resonated with so many people experiencing internal crises, marginalization, or simply questioning the assumptions they've inherited about life and purpose. At the end of the game, you are free to link the fire or let it fade. Dark Souls will never tell you whether you made the right choice. There is no divine endorsement. Gwen's legacy is ambiguous at best. It's a desperate attempt to preserve the past and delay the unknown. So what's left then? As a player, embodying the cursed undead, you are essentially reenacting the myth of Sisyphus, a man condemned by the ancient Greek gods to roll a massive boulder up a mountain, only to watch it tumble back down just before reaching the summit. He must ascend and begin again, forever, and every time he fails, he's mocked by the gods. In a way, Dark Souls mirrors the cycle. You try, and you die. You try again, and most likely, you die again.
I love it.
But unlike the gods of the myth, Dark Souls does not mock you. It does not ridicule your failure. It simply allows you to continue. This is where the core philosophy of Dark Souls reveals itself. Not in reaching the summit, but in embracing the struggle itself. In existentialism, meaning is not discovered or bestowed, it is created through action. Dark Souls operationalizes this idea more completely than perhaps any other game. By linking the fire, you can choose tradition, preserve the illusion, and delay collapse. And by letting it fade, you reject the imposed meaning and step into darkness without any answers. Neither choice is heroic, neither choice is villainous. Both are simply valid. Players often expect progress to be reassuring. They want guidance, visible improvement curves, and an emotional payoff, as in an ending that justifies the time that they have invested. In Dark Souls, the universe simply does not care whether you survive or not. For many players, the constant repetition, especially when it's not paired with immediate progress, feels less like growth and more like wasted time and effort. More importantly, many players experience death as judgment. Instead of seeing failure as part of the struggle, they see it as the game telling them you don't belong here.
Don't.
The NPCs offer no comfort either. Every character you meet is broken in their own way. Solaire has created his own meaning in a decaying world by worshipping the sun. Patches embraces nihilism and thrives within the rot. Oscar, the knight you meet at the very beginning, simply hands you his burden of choice and dies, leaving you alone with the consequences. I still remember my first time playing Dark Souls. The desolation, hostility, and emptiness of the world made me feel deeply uneasy. It felt like a place that had already reached the end of its story. When I arrived at Firelink Shrine, I didn't feel relief so much as tension. It offered me safety, sure, but it also carried a quiet dread. It felt like a place that was meant to be a pit stop. Yet, there are many that have chosen to remain in it, watching the world decay rather than face what's ahead. Wanting to go beyond Firelink Shrine almost felt crazy. There was clearly nothing waiting for me out there but death and more death. As I progressed, that unease only intensified. The swamps and the graveyards and Blight Town, Sense Fortress, well, none of these things offered very much encouragement. Especially Sense Fortress. That place really feels like it was built to piss you off.
Not so fucking tough now, huh? Aha! It's like a good old donkey dick. Here. Bruh! Bruh! Bruh!
And Orlando offered some brief relief. The place is really beautiful. It looks like order and beauty and meaning. But you realize quickly walking in it that it's simply an illusion. What you are seeing is not a living city. It's a hollowed image of what it once was, a confirmation that the world of Dark Souls is in many ways already dead. All of this stuff really makes you think. Dark Souls doesn't just test your mechanical skills, it tests your relationship with effort. Players often quit because the game is too hard, but an equal number of them, they quit because it just feels pointless. Just ask themselves, why continue? What is the point? Everything is already dead and destroyed. As you move from one area to the next, defeat one boss after another, and descend into places that grow increasingly ruined and hostile, the game becomes both harder and bleaker. It's completely understandable for someone to reach a breaking point and decide to walk away, and just go boot up Assassin's Creed or Madden or whatever else that provides immediate reassurance. And that's okay. This is exactly why Dark Souls is not a game for everyone. That doesn't mean it's only for so-called elite or hyper-skilled players. What it means is that despite its massive success and record-breaking sales, Souls games, especially the original Dark Souls trilogy, appeal to a specific type of player. Player who finds meaning in repetition and trial and error. A player who enjoys piecing together fragmented narratives. And a player who is comfortable making sense of a world that offers very little explanation or emotional reassurance. If that's you, you'll likely feel at home in a Souls game. If it isn't, don't sweat it. You're not missing out. The bleak, indifferent world of Dark Souls was never meant for everyone.